"Do you think your family can use me?" Seth tried again. "Do you have any experience in mercantile work?" "As a matter of fact, I've done a little bit of everything. I worked at a general store in Kingdon for about 2 months. Jessie nodded and decided to lay her cards on the table. "What guarantee do I have that you won't come in here and steal everything you can lay your hands on?" Seth looked thoughtful for a moment, and then lifted the large satchel he was holding and put it on the counter. "This is everything I own in the world. You're welcome to look inside, and then put it anywhere you like. I won't leave town without it." There was no missing the earnestness in his face and voice, but that didn't mean he wasn't acting. Jessie took the liberty of looking inside the satchel, and thought that if he was lying, he was very good. She noticed the clothing, certainly, but also 2 family daguerreotypes and some legal documents. "And you're really going to let me tuck this bag away until the end of the day?" "Yes, ma'am," Seth said. "I'm broke, and I'll be visiting Token Creek until that changes." Jessie couldn't help herself. She was drawn to the man and the way he said things. He was also easy to look at, very tall, with broad shoulders and wavy dark hair. His chin looked a bit stubborn, but his gray eyes were warm and friendly. "I don't know if I can use you more than today," the mercantile owner tried next. Seth shrugged. "I'll take any work you can give me." Jessie nodded and said, "That door back there leads to the storeroom. You'll find some crates of canned goods in front of the shelves they go on." "I'll get to it," Seth said, and started that way. Jessie stared after him and knew the exact moment he stopped and looked back at her. "Thank you," he said quietly. He then turned and went through the store, disappearing into the storeroom. Jessie stood for a moment and thought about the exchange. She dearly hoped she would not regret hiring him, and in truth didn't think she would. Just to be sure, however, she did tuck the satchel away in a spot where he wasn't likely to find it. "I made you some dinner," Jessie said several hours later, finding Seth in the storeroom working on the 5th task she'd given him. "Thank you," the man said in genuine appreciation, stopping his work on the large crocks that Jessie wanted cleaned and rearranged, and taking the plate she offered him. "You can use the table there, and don't feel like you have to rush." Seth thanked his employer again, and did indeed turn for the work table that sat near the window of the storeroom. Fresh air and light came from the 2 windows behind him. He sat down in the only chair available and looked at the plate of food she'd prepared, impressed with the amount. He tucked into beef and biscuits covered in gravy and thought about his employer. So far, he'd not seen anyone else working. He didn't think she owned the store on her own, but knew if she did, he would be the last to hear about it. And she was clearly no stranger to the business. There was no hesitation in her as he finished each job. She knew exactly what she wanted him to do next and took no time in telling him. She didn't check on him constantly, but he was fairly certain it would take hours of searching to find his bag. Seth heard her just then, clearly helping a customer, and realized he liked the sound of her voice. It was deep and a little bit husky, and suited her. He'd not met a woman so attractive in a long time, and never one so unaware of it. She moved with grace and unconscious ease as she walked or spoke, and she didn't seem the least aware of herself. Seth did a lot of looking when she was in the room, but if Jessie noticed, she hid it very nicely. While he was still thinking of her, she appeared. "I don't want to rush you, but I've got a big order I'm working on out here. When you're finished, you could load it for me." "Certainly. I'll be right there." Jessie thanked him without ceremony and slipped from the room. Seth, watching all the while, smiled after her. He hadn't planned to spend more time in Token Creek than he had to, but if he could spend it in the company of Jessie Wheeler, it might be worth sticking around. "Well, Pastor English," Jessie greeted the older man who had come in a few hours before closing. "How are you today?" "Doing well, Jessie. How about you?" "I'm fine." "Busy today?" "About normal for a Wednesday," Jessie said with a smile. "What can I get you?" "Just my mail today, thank you." Jessie thought he looked a little tired, but didn't comment. She was reaching for his mail when Seth came to the front with a question. He was gone again before Jessie could introduce the 2 men.